My dog walks into the room at the same time.
All right, and we are just coming up live on Analysts After Work, and tonight I am joined by two epic legends, Bob Prentice, Amy Riddell, with her hair did, nails did, everything did. Welcome to Analysts After Work.
Hi, Vince.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Oh, it's today was a day. Today was a day, but
a bad day or a good day?
And I was telling Bob just before we came on, like I was creating some content for work, and it was about an hour of content that I recorded 4 times, because the first time the audio didn't pick up, the second time the lav was rubbing against my shirt. I gave up after. I'm like, I'll just leave my
day.
Yeah, it was a day. So
you're just gonna have those days when you're filming stuff, dude.
So to that, cheers.
Oh,
what are we drinking tonight, Amy?
Well, Vince, tonight we're drinking the best money $24.99 can buy.
Oh,
beautiful box
wine
of Peller Family Vineyards Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
Comes with its own spigot.
Its own spout.
Yes.
Open it for me, Amy.
So
there's hardly any left. I'm gonna have to take the bladder out and start bringing it into my glass.
I don't know if you saw episode. I think it was episode 3 with Jen Forrest.
Yes, I did.
Where we talked about her wine from Aldi.
Yes.
her $2.50, and I kept changing the name, and it was like Winking Owl or something. I kept calling it like Wind in the Willows and silly names.
I love that, Jen. She's fun.
So that's awesome. Okay, so Peller Estates box wine and
wine.
Bob?
Don't judge the boxed wine. I mean, I've got a friend, Bonnie, and she is an expert at boxed wines. I'm just drinking La Croix orange. Okay. Nothing exciting. If Bonnie were here, though, she would have brought me green wine.
Hey, Sarah.
That is our thing right now, is green wine.
Green wine.
What's that?
Yeah, it's from Portugal.
Okay.
And wait, is it Portugal? Yeah, Lisbon.
Okay. That is Portugal. That is Portugal.
It's called green wine. And all I can tell you is it's effervescent, and it's green, and it's fantastic. Like the first time I had a sip, I was like, I must have more. I mean, it was like you think you put something in it that shouldn't be there. So Bonnie's been going through a whole list of these imports of green wine, trying to find out which one's the best one. But it's most exciting wine. I just know it as green wine from Portugal.
I wonder if we have green wine in Canada.
I really sincerely hope not.
No, I hope you do. It's really good.
Okay, well, I mean, cool. I'm sticking with my traditional Spanish brandy. So, cheers.
Wow, how international.
Cheers. Yeah, look at us. Cheers.
So something funny just happened.
Yes.
You can see people coming in, and
yes,
my friend Sarah, who is in Australia in Perth, who I met at BA World there, I think
welcome, Sarah.
8 years ago, said hi. And I was like, oh, hi, Sarah. But Suri thought I was talking to him, and he started answering. So if you heard a man's voice, I don't have any men in my condo. It was just my phone.
Okay. Your Siri, you changed your Siri to be a male voice?
An Irish guy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know you could do that. I just got used to
Greg Brown. Yeah. Oh, you can get all sorts of those.
Yeah, and it can make it more complicated, though, because sometimes they won't pick up, like the Australian male does not like my accent. You think it just doesn't recognize half of what I say. So
interesting.
Yeah, he sounds great, but doesn't work very well.
Well, we've got before we dive in and really get through a few of these, we have a special. It's a special day today, right?
It is.
We've got
special day today.
Are you going to explain?
It's someone's birthday.
It's Jen Bedell's birthday.
It's Jennifer Bedell's birthday.
Friend of the show,
Yes.
Jen Bedell, and I've never gotten to say that. Friend of the show. She's the only 2-time attendee because last week with Jimmy and Jared, she crashed. And, I mean, we invited her, but whatever.
Yeah.
So, Jen, happy birthday to you. If you guys any takers on singing, or we're good.
You know I'm gonna sing it.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jen Bedell. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
And I had this banner ready because I knew there was no way we were getting through an hour without Bob singing.
Oh, I thought someone wrote that and just didn't put their name to it.
Anything you see at the bottom, that's me.
Oh.
So like this, we now have breaking
news. Are
news.
you saying I'm predictable?
When it comes to singing, yes.
Well, of course. I mean, motto is never go a day without singing.
Everybody's got their thing, and yours is singing, and that's cool. Yeah. Like, that's fine. So Jen's birthday, and we've got another big announcement today, don't we, Amy?
We do.
We do. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm giving you the time because this is an amazing thing that you're doing, and I want to give you time while hopefully everyone is still with us and sober. So Go ahead.
So, because we've had to postpone all of our events this spring, we have decided, and it was done on very short notice, to host a virtual conference. That's right, a 2-day virtual conference on May 26th and 27th, featuring...
Totally done in pantomime.
That's right. Oh, so many surprises. Featuring Bob, featuring Vince, featuring some of your favorites you've had on here, Jimmy, Jen Bedell, we were just talking about, Jamie Champagne speaking at it.
Coop, who's going to be on next week.
Yeah, is he?
Coop's going to be on next week.
Coop?
Yep.
Yeah, Coop's on there.
I heard you say.
Jennifer Batten, Paul Crosby. I didn't. Yeah, did I?
Say Coop? It sounded like poo poo.
Poo poos? No, that's a me and Jared thing. Poo poos.
Anyway, yes. So if you want to get some information about it, I think you're going to throw up. There we go. You can
we're there.
Right there. And you can get the information. You can register. You can look at the full program. You do get PDUs and CDUs. So that's great. And it's live.
Mm-hmm.
Sessions, half an hour with 15 minutes of Q&A. It's
give or take. Give or take.
Yeah.
I like to talk. It's
easy breezy. Yeah. Anyway, please go check it out. We'd love to have you there. We have over 1,000 people already registered for it.
Awesome.
Surprise pants off of me. And it's going to be a great event. So very exciting.
I pushed, and they can go to BAPM Times if they want to get more information. I think it's like $25 if you register before Monday. Like just do it. Just pay the $25.
Yeah.
I've sent it to everybody, and they're like, normally to do this 2-day thing is a couple $1,000. So to have it done for $25. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's actually my fault because I put the decimal spot in the wrong place when I was. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well,
$25 until I think early bird ends very soon. It could even
Monday,
be tomorrow or Monday.
So yeah.
It explains the quarter that's in my contract for.
That's right.
So it looks like you've struck a nerve here, Bob. So Jen obviously is with us watching, excited, and then but the nerve that was struck was not with Jen, it's with Jared, who's a little jealous. So you may have to find out when Jared's birthday is.
Jared, I'm saddened. I didn't realize I've never sang a birthday song to you. I mean, I know I sang to you in a bar one time, but that's probably a story we wouldn't share.
No, it might be. It's actually the point of the show. Please.
Oh, he wouldn't remember.
We don't know what you could unleash, Vince.
Listen.
Or is that why you invited us on together?
I think of my pairings, much like boxed wine and hot dogs. I consider my pairings carefully.
Mhm.
So Amy's the box of wine and I'm the hot dog. Is that what
You guys figure that out. I'm not
that makes you the bun?
sure. Well, and just
October 23rd. Jared's birthday's October 23rd.
so there we go. So October
okay.
23rd. Put it in your calendars.
I-
Jared, get ready for it. If this show is still around, and it's a Thursday, that we'll get Bob back on.
Well, it just has to be any time close to that, you know.
Sure. But it's special though when it's the same day.
And Jared, you can even decide on the style of song you want it sung in, the style of music. So it doesn't have to be traditional happy birthday. It could be like rock and roll, punk happy birthday, opera happy birthday.
And I'll just keep this on standby. That's awesome. So how have you guys been with what's going with this, with life in the last 6 weeks? How it has changed so dramatically. Amy, Bob's okay. Bob, we'll start with you.
Amy, you want to go first? Because or do you want me to go first?
I would love it if you went first.
Okay. So, it's we live in very interesting times. And what's interesting to me is I was talking last year about how to make positive change in an uncertain world. And I couldn't have even dreamt that the keynote that I had created for this year with that title was going to lead to this. This was not what I was at all. And, I'm an analyst. I deal with facts. I deal with numbers. And I've been crunching the numbers on our state where I live in Minnesota. And I've been crunching numbers around, people that walk around that don't even know they have this, the symptoms and things of that nature. And it's really yielded some hot button, knockdown, drag out fights and heavy discussions with people. And I'm like, look, people, facts. It drives me insane. If you're going to be an analyst, you're going to be in IT or anything project related, facts. So it's very frustrating when I deal with people that don't deal with facts.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends that their hours have been cut or they've been unemployed, and we're all crunching numbers and trying to figure it out. So the anxiety that comes with that. So I have a friend, he's had on average about 2.5 COVID dreams a week.
Yeah.
He's got 2 kids and 2 different moms and they all share. And so, you start crunching those numbers about when one child goes from one home into his home and the other one goes to the other one and the back and forth and everything. And so Paul's birthday is coming up this next week. And a couple of our friends had this idea, why don't we all go over and we'll have a picnic on Bob's front lawn, but we'll all social distance, right? And my thing is not 6 feet away, it's 12 feet away. You will stay 12 feet away from everyone. And the logistics of even 8 people in the front lawn, it's like stressful. And he's going through these numbers and he's crunching the numbers. And could I live with that if I accidentally gave it to my daughter?
Yeah.
Right.
Could I live with that if I gave it to my best friend?
Right.
And so these are the kind of things that we think about. And it's not very fun to think about those things.
It's not.
But it's necessary.
And that was my worry. I at work was not very vocal about the anxiety in the before everything shut down.
Yeah.
I had heard about it in January and it was one of those I don't feel good about this, but we were supposed to be in Orlando.
Yeah.
And how was I going to complain about I don't feel comfortable coming to work, but I'm going to get in a plane to go to Orlando.
Right.
The minute that was canceled or postponed, I don't want to come to work anymore. I'm just going to work from home.
Yeah.
Because I was anxious before the lockdown.
Well, and ironically, right, it almost gives you that permission then. It's what removes some of the anxiety because you're like, fine, I'm going to stay at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have all of our groceries delivered. We don't leave the house. People have to deliver them to a table at the top of our driveway. I get very angry when they come up to the front door because then I start looking at, pets have been getting it and, stuff that's our front door. It's just ridiculous. You know, and Amy, your trials and tribulations with just finding the right toilet tissue in Canada.
We're good. We're good now. We're good now. We figured it out.
Did I tell you about the $30 toilet paper I bought?
No, please. This is what this show is supposed
That's
to be.
why I brought it up.
There we
No
go.
word of a lie. There was my best friend's son works at Costco, and people were getting into, and like women were getting into fist fights in the aisles over toilet paper. I thought, and I had some, but I was like, oh, well, of course everyone thinks, oh, I need more, I must get more. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And my friend Paul happened to be at T&T's, the grocery store.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's Scottish. This is me doing Scottish. He goes, oh, they have some toilet paper here. Shall I get it for you? And I said, how much is it? He goes, $30 for 30 rolls. I don't care. Buy it. So it's so pretty, little blue flowers and everything. I don't even know. It's the worst toilet paper in the world.
But it looks beautiful.
It looks so nice.
It's like artisan.
It's one step up from the toilet paper they had in the dispensers in grade school.
Oh my God! It's like your display toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. But anyway.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah. So there's that.
I got yelled at last week for buying toilet paper, and I didn't buy it. We finally bought toilet paper for the first time since everything started about 3 weeks ago. And so I was like, fine, okay. We still had 4 rolls. We weren't in an emergency situation, but I thought,
it's getting there.
Close.
It's getting there.
2 people, 4 rolls, that'll last forever. But I don't want to know what you guys are eating. So so anyway, we got the big, Charmin pack. Great, everything's good. And then last week, all of a sudden, Paul starts screaming at me. He said, "Stop ordering toilet paper! What'd you order this for? What do we need bok choy and clementines for?" And so we used this shopping service, and they delivered the completely wrong order. And so we have all this bok choy and clementines, and I guess it's time to make stir fry because that's everything was in there was that, and then massive toilet paper.
Bok choy.
Couldn't you just send it back?
Well, so you would think it would be that easy, right? I immediately get on, I contact them, no response. Then I waited for a good 45 minutes to use their chat function, and finally I get someone on, and then they drop off, and I had to log back in, of course. And then they couldn't track the shopper down, and they're like, "We have no one to come pick it up, and we're going to credit your account." So we ended up keeping the bok choy and the clementines and the toilet paper, which we got for free because no one would come pick it up.
Sure.
But then I had to reorder everything,
right,
and start from scratch. And that's just part of the stress. And then I'm like, well, I really want to give this person a bad review. But then if you give them a bad review and then they're the shopper for you the next time, they'll remember that. It's like that old adage of, do you tell a server at a restaurant that your food is bad because you're afraid to get in your food?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. No. Unless you never plan on going back there again.
Yep.
Right.
Like you're in a city away from home. You're there and you don't think you'll ever be back. Then at the end,
you can complain about the devil down.
Yeah.
If you're a regular at a restaurant, so we have a couple of restaurants that they know us, like we have our special table, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I know, it's sweet, right?
It's very sweet.
They bring us free stuff all the time too, because we spend a lot of money at these restaurants.
Sure.
In that case, that's also a good time to tell someone, sorry, you missed the mark.
Yes.
Because they'd rather hear it from you than someone else.
Yes. I remember, and this was like a gangster move. We went out for dinner in Toronto to a Mexican restaurant a couple of years ago after one of the conference days. And you're like, bring me a margarita, top shelf tequila. I don't care how much it costs. Just make it good. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm like, can I have a Coke? Like, okay, all right, this guy is fancy, but
it's not fancy. You just hit a certain age and a certain point of your life where you expect quality. you know, and I'm not about drinking rail drinks and
Right.
crap, you know.
Right.
I like a really good margarita.
And that's the point in your life where you think about, okay, I'm going to go on a web show. I should probably put on like a fancier T-shirt than a knockoff Game of Thrones from
Mine is not
Primark.
Mine's legitimate Star Wars.
Oh no, that's like, it's not a dress down shirt. That is a legit. You can tell.
Had I known, I would have worn my Star Wars shirt too.
I wore mine for Star Wars Day.
Amy, I do have something else I can wear.
What is it?
Something that I know you would appreciate greatly.
Oh, geez.
Amy sent this to me from Toronto.
They did.
Hey, Amy, notice he said Toronto.
Toronto.
It looks
outsider.
A
little
itchy though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a feather boa that's hot pink. I don't think that color exists naturally in the world. So there's something on it.
An 80s trivia music contest at a industry event years ago. In fact, I think I won 10 of them because the Everything to Do with Sex show sponsored the grand prize for the trivia contest, and that was the prize as boas. And so I got them all.
Where's my boa? I will gladly wear.
Marcella ran off with them, and I never got them back. I only got one, but the best.
Here, I'll send you this.
Thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
Wait, tickle.
I'm just gonna sit back and let you two.
All right.
Let you two talk for a bit. So, I mean, it's. How have you been? So we know how you've been with the stuff. How has work been? Because Amy, I can only imagine you. Well, yeah, we'll start with you. I can only imagine it's been like just ridiculous with replanning and canceling and postponing and rescheduling.
Yeah.
And managing the high maintenance egos of guys like me and Bob. Like,
no, you know what? It's we've moved everything. We've pushed everything into the fall. Plus we have our regular lineup of events that take place then anyways. So, fingers crossed, everything goes. It's going to be busy. But yeah, you know what? We have a great support team where I am, and we're online. Everybody, we still all have our jobs, which is great. We're on Microsoft. We use Microsoft Teams at work. So we're in constant contact with each other, usually through video chat. Quite often, my boss will call me at 9:05, video chat in the morning. So I'm up every morning with full work paint on, just in case.
Right.
But so we've all kept connected. Maybe it's sort of petered off the last couple of weeks. I think everyone sort of felt a little bit. It's sort of, I don't know. I've been reading lots of articles. This is around the period when everyone starts to, kind of moves into the next phase where it's.
Sure.
But, it's waiting and seeing and making sure you have your ducks in a row for, however it's going to play out. And unfortunately, we just do not know. We can be very practical about things, can be very optimistic about things. Bottom line is we just don't know yet.
No. And I mean, this is not normal. Like what we're going through is not, there will be a next normal. I've had that conversation with Lori Silverman, and this is a term from like McKinsey where they talk about the next normal. Like there's no going back to pre-March.
Right.
There's like I've said, I can do everything that I need to do from home. So, I'll go in once a week, twice a week. Like I don't need to be there to be effective, which is good. I'm not hands-on, making widgets. I can, it's knowledge work, right? So
the thing that really stinks for me is my favorite part of my job is being at the events, being with you, being with the attendees, the sponsors, everybody. And so, I mean, that's what I'm really, really missing. Going into the office, great. I love my coworkers. I can connect them on here, but it's just being on site is such a different vibe. It kind of brings everything you've been working so hard to together, and it's so much fun. And there's such a community, and it's, sure, virtual is probably the way we're going to have to go for the next little while, but you lose that awesome element, and it makes me sad, actually.
I know. And I mean, that was part of my inspiration for doing this, was just a way of like, if you look at who's been on the show so far, it's all been people that are part of camp, right? Like part of the Project World, BA World lineup, and eventually I'll start reaching outside. But right now I'm still going through our list. Like, there's so many people, and it's just an excuse to chat over a drink or two, and just make sure that everybody's okay.
So Danielle, I think it was Danielka. Pardon me.
Danelkis.
Yeah. She had a comment. She said, "Continue."
Let's put it up.
Oh, she's there.
Is this really feasible? And what's interesting about that is that at some point it becomes, there's no choice. It has to be feasible, because that's just how you're going to have to do business. I mean, similar to Amy, we're in training and consulting, and clients want us in person. That's the strength of Jen and Bob and Paul, and that connection, right? Same with Amy. We want to be right there. It's much more interesting.
Yeah.
But at some point, you kind of have to bite the bullet and say, well, I'm going to have to go for second best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find a way of reaching out differently.
Send a feather boa in the mail, and
send you.
Every time you do that, you lose a couple feathers. So keep doing it, and eventually,
yes, I don't need a new boa.
Awesome.
But that's just part of the process. And I had tons of clients who moved all of their training from the spring and said, "We'll wait till the fall."
Right.
Guess what? It may not happen in the fall. We don't know yet. And at some point, they'll go, okay, well, I guess we're going to do it virtual. Some of our clients are doing it virtual now. And we're finding very creative new ways to connect virtually.
Yeah.
Because we can't.
Because you don't have a choice.
Exactly.
Like that.
We've always done virtual, but now we got to ramp up our game.
Yeah. I said like the first week, and I'm not going to take credit for saying this because I probably read it somewhere, but this has done, and I think I've said this on a previous show, this has done more for digital transformation, for business transformation than anyone in the C-suite ever could. Like, because you didn't have a choice.
It's forced on you, and you
have
to think outside the box, and and you've got
die.
Like, reinvent,
right? Like,
exactly.
Like, there was no choice.
As a small business owner, that's exactly what we've done. And I know lots of other people with small companies, and they've already died. They weren't able to reinvent.
In 6 weeks?
Yeah, in 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's happening rapidly. And in fact, I've had people reach out to me that, I haven't heard from. Oh, that was a dog. Haven't.
Now we have a dog somewhere here.
Come here. But people that are reaching out to me, and it's like, I haven't heard from them in years, and that's because they're on the edge, right?
Right.
Oh, here we go.
And there's the dog.
Hello, this is Lila.
Lila.
Known as Two Fang, because she's not going to let me do it, but she's got these cute 2 little fangs on the bottom. No, you won't want to show that. She's got 2 fangs that stick out of the bottom.
Gotcha.
I don't actually like to be held that much. She's going to squirm out of my arms here in a second. But I'm so cute.
Who's a good girl?
Your dog is so normal sized. I don't know if you saw the Jen Forrest episode and her like 900-pound cat.
Right.
Like, holy crap! This cat was like just a cat.
Here's the other one. This is Sophie.
That's not the same dog?
Oh, so
okay.
They're very similar. This one doesn't have a big dark brown spot on the back. This one is she snores a lot. Don't you? Anyway.
Thank you, Lee. Yeah, Lee. Lee Waxman, you're bang on, buddy. I was thinking, is it the thing about owners start to look like their dogs, or dogs start to look like their owners, something like that? So
yeah. And sadly, mine's getting whiter by the day, so I'm gonna be right there with her soon.
I've got some coming in, and it's freaking me out. Like over here, it's not a good look. But as you can see, I kept this for you, Bob.
I know, it's awesome.
Like,
I can't wait for another 4 or 5 inches, man.
Did you,
you know what?
ponytail
I
the
think,
other day?
yeah, I did a ponytail. My wife and my kids were like, I think we can get Daddy's hair in a ponytail. I'm like, no, you can't. Like, yeah, I think we can. I'm like, okay, you know what? Do it. Go ahead. And then they did it.
Yeah.
So
who was
like,
the crazy guy on Seinfeld?
Kramer?
Kramer, yeah, you're kind of getting
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, when I put that picture up, my sister was like, "Oh, yay, you look like Pebbles from the Flintstone thing." And I'm like, and I sort of jokingly said, you know, do you think I should keep going and like go to Man Bun? And she said, "No, please, God, no, please don't do that." And you know what? Vince doesn't do anything half-assed. So next up, Man Bun.
Of course, Man Bun Plus.
Man Bun Plus with the goatee, with the soul patch.
Yeah.
So
just keep throwing the soul patch out.
I actually got rid of it, and my girls were not happy. They were not. They were like, "Where's Daddy's little beard?"
I actually appreciate your soul patch. There's a lot of soul patches I don't like, but I was a little surprised when I saw you without it recently. I was like, it doesn't look like you.
Yeah. I probably did an episode or two of this doing that, and it's just, it's not, you know. So it's back. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long to do, and as opposed to a Man Bun, which I think takes a little bit longer. Although I'm there. I'm getting there.
So what have you guys been doing to pass the time and relieve some of the anxiety? I mean, obviously, I knew Amy was going to. She actually owns a fifth of the liquor store down the street now.
Pretty much.
Basis.
See, look, it's fun.
That sounds like a Supreme Court call.
That's
This is classy with a capital K, fellas.
Classy with a capital K. For
no
more,
one should drink it without using my hands.
For more mayhem like this, go to the virtual conference. Where I'm hoping, and I got to sell Amy on, but I want to do this at the end of each day with the speakers for the day.
Well,
I think that would be. I think so, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
How yet? But
yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk. Yeah. So to answer your question, Bob, I was admittedly really messed up for the first 3 weeks. Like I could not find. I thought on the first day, this is great. I'm working on my next book. I'm going to use this opportunity to get it done. It's going to be fantastic. I've written like 200 words in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I did not have any motivation to work on it. And it wasn't until a couple weeks ago where I started, like, then I had this unprecedented period of like creativity and like productivity because I got through that. So, in the past, I would say 3 or 4 weeks, I've put together 2 new workshops. I have developed. I've been working with Jamie Champagne on a multi-day workshop associated with how to up the fun factor at work. So looking at it from a team, an individual, and an organizational level, how do you have fun? Because there's no reason we can't have fun at work.
Well, wait a second, Vince. Aren't you doing that as a presentation at the virtual conference on May 27th?
I am. Plug. I am. And there will be, yes, I am, right before Bob's closing keynote.
Yeah.
But I've also then come up with the framework for 2 new keynotes. I have started building out a lot more online courses. Like I just have been busy, and I'm still doing work. And I realize I have, for the last, I would say 5 years, I've functioned on 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night. Without having to wake up at 5 a.m. to get to work, because I live an hour and a half away,
Yeah.
I have an extra 3 days, or 3 hours rather, that allows me to be productive and sleep. So I've had like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. My mind is firing. Like, it is incredible how, like, I don't remember the last time I didn't feel tired. So this, like, I struggled at first, and now I think I'm getting into a really sort of happy place with this, where I don't, like I said earlier, I can't go back because I've been through the looking glass.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
I was like, I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to do all this stuff. I've got, and it's like, and next thing I know, I watched, 60 episodes of a television show. Got through about 40 movies, and
right.
I'm still trying to find the ultimate motivation, but definitely getting more done. I did write about 2,500 words on my new book today. So
amazing. Today.
Yeah.
2,500 words today. Oh, that's sorry. I've had like 3 already. That's 2,500, not 25,000.
No, 25,000.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 2,500 a day is a good amount.
That's pretty good. That's awesome. Good for you.
Quality.
Yeah.
But
well, it's funny. I read earlier on that this is sort of a funny situation for us. Like, the 2 responses to any threat are what?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Well,
we win.
Where's our prize?
I'm gonna explain the rest of the story. You can't fight the virus, and you can't run away because you've been confined to your home. No. So, except for you guys down south, like, you guys are opening things up, and let's not get political, but whatever. So in response, your body doesn't know what to do, and it starts shutting down. So you're not going to have that same level of productivity, and it's okay. It's okay. And that's why this is not normal. Yeah. What comes next will be normal. What follows will be fine. This is not normal. So I think it's been an interesting, and that was like a fascinating take on that, because it makes total sense.
Yeah.
One of the things that some of our friends have been doing, we're getting to the point where we're accepting that doing things a little different is okay, and that is our normal for right now.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of times a week we get together over WebEx, Zoom, whatever, and we'll play Jackbox games.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't heard of Jackbox games, you guys, they're on virtually every single platform, but they're a combination of really weird trivia or drawing games, things of that nature. And, you'll go into a room on your phone and it'll be like, hey, draw this, picture, and it will give you something like, monkey brains will be your title, and you have to draw what monkey brains look like. Mm-hmm. And then, people vote, or they try to guess what your drawing is, or other things like that. But there's literally 6 different packs of games. So there's about 24 different games, and you just put it up on the WebEx, share the screen, and then everyone else is on their phone, so everyone can see what's happening on the WebEx, and at the same time you're playing the games, and it keeps score, and it's been a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Is it free?
Well, the Jackbox costs like $25 for the 4 or 5 games. It's really cheap.
Yeah.
You can get it on Android, iOS, PlayStation, a lot of different things, but we have it on our Macs, and then we just play it through WebEx.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super simple.
I played it with some of the folks at work, and I finished dead last, and so I immediately announced, you know what, I have another meeting to go to, and I got the hell out of there.
No, we get together as a company every Friday afternoon from 4 to 5 on Zoom or on WebEx, and every week we do. So last week I wasn't at last week's because it was my nephew's birthday, but it was bingo. The week before it was trivia about our coworkers. Prior to that it was trivia. So something like that would be really fun. Accommodate like how many people, like how many players?
It just depends on the game. Most of them do up to about 8 people at a time. But there are a few that allow an unlimited number of people.
Oh, okay.
So
good to know, Samantha, if you're watching Jackbox.
I will
organizes it.
I will invite both of you and show you how it works.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to see Vince take last again.
You want to what?
I want to see Vince take last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, you know, listen.
And then blame it on technical issues.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It's to be a theme. So about 2 weeks ago, I had we did an after work thing with some of the folks at work, and this one guy, the guy that runs our fantasy pool, was like, "Yeah, what place did you finish last year, Vince?" I'm like, "I finished last." I'm like, "Dude, are you seriously trolling me a year and a half later?"
Wow.
Like, there's been another season. And I finished 5th last year, so you know, come on. And he was just doing it was coming from a place of love, so I didn't get too upset. But like, dude, are you seriously coming after me a year and a half later for fantasy football? But fantasy football at work is like the thing because it's actually the thing that's brought us all together.
My dad didn't.
Right there, we'll go there. Yeah. They were not happy with me a few days ago because I won 3 games in a row. So,
yeah.
But what's cool about these games is that they're so different, and it's so dependent on a lot of luck. Honestly, it's and 50% off right now for Jackbox Party Packs.
Thank you, Jennifer Goodell.
We can. Jen is working hard, doing research for us on her birthday,
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But every single one of us have won at some point.
Yeah.
So it's very even keel as far as, who wins or how often. The 3 in a row was a bit of a fluke.
Right.
And then we did play one more game and I took dead last.
Right.
That,
See, this is the reason why nobody wants to play Risk or Monopoly with me.
Because it's boring.
No, it's
strategy.
It's strategy.
I would love to play Monopoly with you because I am a Monopoly whiz.
I am not
strategies.
I am not a nice person.
No, you can't be.
You can't.
We played one game of Monopoly and we're about 15 minutes in. I had already negotiated for the orange properties and I'm like, I landed on my hotels 1 round later, and I was like, and I'm done because you guys are all going to lose.
Yeah.
So
the last time I played Monopoly, this is riveting stuff, by the way. the last time I played Monopoly, I had Boardwalk and one of the green Pennsylvania Ave or something, and there was another player that had Park Place and the other 2 greens. And so I traded. I got Park Place, and I gave 2. Sorry, they had 1 and 1. I gave 2 greens to them for 1, and had enough to build 2 hotels on both properties. Where do you think they landed on their next turn?
Of course,
right on Boardwalk, and I did one of these.
Yeah.
I'll take those greens back now, thank you.
Just for you non-strategist Monopoly players, Boardwalk and Park Place is the number 2 strategy for winning Monopoly. The number 1 is your orange properties because they yield the highest volume of people that land on those properties. So if you can get the orange ones, 90% of the time you're going to win. Yeah. Unless you get Boardwalk Park Place because you get such a high return so quickly. People bankrupt quickly.
Yeah.
But see, this is where I looked at it as
more wine.
I took a risk. I took a chance because it could have just as easily gone the other way. right? So I took a chance. It paid off. But that was the last time anybody wanted to play Monopoly with me.
Yeah. So Jen wanted to know if you use free parking. Do you do money on free parking?
Yes.
Yeah. So we usually put 500 on there, and
500, and then any interest or the pay $75 luxury tax goes into the middle. Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. So Amy,
Yes.
I'm curious.
Okay.
What's the downtown of Toronto like right now?
You know, I try to stay in. Obviously, we try to go for walks and things like that. There's a lot of people still out on the street, and it gets really stressful because you're trying to maintain that distance. So you're walking down like Carlton, where I am, and you're like dodging into the road and this and that, and there's streetcars, and it's there's still a lot of people out. I mean, right now it's quiet.
Bastards. Bastards are out.
I'm right downtown.
Right.
So I can't hear anything. My building faces onto a courtyard with some other condos. What's really cool is every night at 7:30 on the dot, and this has been going on for 7 weeks, 8 weeks now, is that everybody goes out on their balcony and starts banging the pots. And some guy across the courtyard there has some big, but every night without fail. So that's kind of cool. But
I had to drive into work before because they shut down my building.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like, if there's anything you need in there, go get it, because we're shutting the building and it's going to be off limits. I don't think I took a breath the whole drive down. And it's 60 kilometers. What's that?
Yeah.
35, 40 miles.
Yeah.
I don't think I took a breath. I was like tense the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. And then I had an awkward moment where
Why?
I pressed the button for I don't know. It was the first time I'd actually been out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
So this is about 3 weeks ago. It was the first time I'd been out. And since then I've gone to pick up food and like, whatever. I'm young, whatever. I'm just kidding, by the way.
Like,
I had this really awkward moment where I pressed the button for the elevator and I guess somebody was coming off and we just sort of like,
oh yeah,
what do we do? What do we like? And then you end up in that like dance of, do I go this way or and it worked out, but we were within 6 feet of each other.
That's the thing is getting used and accustomed to people looking at you like you're Typhoid Mary, but because everyone's like, ooh, and as a naturally extroverted person, for me, it's like, I ran into a friend of mine on the street. This was a couple of weeks ago. My immediate, and I hadn't seen him for a long time. George, sometimes this video, you've met him, Bob. I was like, hey, and he was like, I am not touching you. But I didn't even think. My first instinct was I hadn't seen my friend for a long time. I go running down the street like this.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, we're having a couple of friends over on Saturday. Well, maybe 1, 2, 4. And my whole thing is, I'm going to have squares on the lawn. You will go to that square. You will go to that square. And when you go get your food on the table, you will go to the street. You will walk down. You walk back up the driveway. It's ridiculous. I told you a story about Jen Batten getting yelled at, didn't I?
Oh, yeah. No, Jen Batten. I think Jen Batten. You told me, and then she posted on Facebook about it.
Yeah, she got yelled at because she was wearing a mask at the grocery store, and someone was like, "Why are you wearing masks? We don't wear masks. Our politicians don't wear masks. We're Americans." And I'm like, okay. And that's the thing that bothers me more about anything else is just the crazy things that are happening in association with that. I mean, just in the last couple of days, people have been injured and killed. Just the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, I said at the beginning that our experiences were going to be different because Canadians are those people that will just, we don't like it. Yeah, we'll complain about it, but we'll do it. because if it makes sense, we'll do it. Whereas y'all love the liberty, and you can't take away my liberty. And this is a utilitarian need. Like, you need to do this.
Has nothing to do with freedom.
It has nothing to do with freedom. And
Nothing
and so the more you're actually out there, the more it's going to infringe on your freedom.
Yeah.
So, it's as an outsider and as a political scientist in my background, like, it's fascinating watching. But I called that at the beginning. It's like there's going to be different experiences, and it was funny that we had a protest up here to reopen Ontario, make Ontario great again, and the premier came out and said, "What is wrong with you people?
Yeah,
like, nobody wants to open this place more than me, but what is wrong with you? Like, we can't do it."
I was 1 week away from going to Ontario when everything hit, and literally just 4 days before I'm supposed to fly out, I got the call saying, no, government shut down. I'd never felt so relieved in my entire life.
Yeah.
well, that's when we were supposed to get married. It seems so long ago now, doesn't it?
No, it just seems like, months and months ago. It really wasn't that long. But I just, as much as I love the people, because I've had a lot of them in my workshops and things, at UPM world, I didn't want to go. Scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just up your whiskey, didn't you?
It's brandy. And
Brandy,
yes, I did. I was 1 week away from a haircut. I was 1 week away. I was trying to time it to coincide with Project World Orlando, which was in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I thought, that way it looks fresh, but it still grows in, so it doesn't look like a chip.
Have you wondered, though? I just got to know. Have you wondered how I have not changed at all?
No, I imagine you just cut your own hair.
Yeah, of course. But
yeah,
I can teach you how to do this. It's really easy.
No, I'm good. I'm at the point where I just want to see what this becomes. Like, what is it going to end up looking like? Because I think once I get through the period of like awkwardness, I think it's going to start. Like, when I was in high school, I had shoulder length, sort of long hair. Played soccer. I had the hair tie. It was like it would flow in the wind. It was great.
They called you Matilda.
They did not. They did not call me Matilda. I did read that book, and yet I don't get that reference.
Well, it could have been any name.
Although I was in the gifted program. But like, I'm almost curious to see what it becomes. Scooter, you feel my pain. Like, I was 1 week away, and you know who's really going to come out of this looking good? People that live with hairdressers.
Oh,
you know who's having a really hard time right now? Home burglars. Like,
home burglars?
Home burglars are just they have to be struggling because everyone's home.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Like, you can't, like, you've got to pivot.
The sad reality is it's going to lead to the next stage, because when people get more desperate, they do more desperate things.
Sure.
And a lot of these home burglars that didn't used to be violent will at some point become more violent.
Well, all right. Then I'm glad I've got my sword hanging over my door. Not joking. I have a sword from El Cid from the first time I went to Spain with my then girlfriend, now wife. And I brought it back in my luggage, and I declared it.
I have a sword in my bag.
I'm like, they're like, "Are you bringing any weapons?" Yep. What are you bringing? A sword.
Is that a sword in your bag, or are you just happy? I just don't even know where to
go. So I went up and like, they're like, "You brought a sword back?" I'm like, "Yeah, like a decorative sword." They're like, "Oh, like a samurai sword?" "Yeah, except from Spain." Oh, okay, go. Like,
Yeah.
it was in my suitcase. I didn't have it carry on. I wasn't ridiculous, but
Yeah, if you
I brought a sword back.
just be very practical about it, that's
Yeah.
all that matters.
Yeah.
Unlike
Practicality.
Unlike that first time I went to Canada and they thought I was a terrorist.
Wait a minute. We've got 5 minutes left. How are we just getting to this now?
Montreal, right?
I thought you knew that story.
Bread bugs?
It was right after 9/11. It was the very first time I was flying internationally. And I wasn't given a whole lot of instructions. I thought, I've got my passport, I'm good to go. And when I get into Montreal, I literally got my ass handed to me because they're like, why are you here? And I said, well, I'm here to do training. And they're like, get out of the line right now. And what I didn't know is that trainers was the alias of everyone that was in 9/11.
Yeah.
And so that was a keyword for them. And it's like, I'm a trainer. And I spent an hour getting yelled at and everything except a deep cavity search. I swear to God. And, they wanted to know website. Where's my contract? I didn't have a contract. The only thing that saved me was the fact that they could call the home company and there was someone that answered the phone and they spent 20 minutes on with them verifying my identity. But she's like, we don't know who you are. We don't know where you come from. You could be anyone. And I'm literally just, the feeling. I mean, just you're like, I'm going to die. And so apparently when you go through an experience like that, you are put on a list.
Yeah.
And and I'm still on the list. It's just now I've been there so many times. Now I just go through like that because I've been there so many times and they just, why are you here? I said, oh, I'm here for, conference, go. I mean, I never get stopped anymore. But the first year and a half after that, I would be pulled out of lines. My worst experience has always actually been in Winnipeg, of all places. And they would literally search my luggage. They would open up my luggage and throw my underwear and everything on the ground. And then when they couldn't find anything, and they'd walk away and I'd have to pick up everything off the ground and repack.
Now that you're dumping on Canada, the only time I've had problems with TSA is coming out of Minneapolis.
Of course.
And so
I still go to Canada. I love Canada.
No, I mean, whatever. I bought some candy from like a gluten-free shop at the Mall of America, Sugar Babe or Sugar Baby or something like that. Whatever.
You didn't declare it, did you?
No, I did declare it. It was in my carry-on, and they said that the problem was it wasn't that it was food because it was a gift. The problem was that they were jelly candies, and it looks like concentrated liquid when it goes through the scanner. So they're like, that's what. So once they found it and they saw, and they're like, are you really attached to this? And I think in the end they were messing with me. I'm like, if I have to give that to you for me to get on this flight, I'll like have it. I don't care. It was a gift for my wife, but like I'm not gonna. That's not the hill I'm gonna die on. So take your jellies, and there you go.
And eat
them. There you go. So, these stories have been fascinating, and I want to, in the minute and a half left, I want to tell the story of the first time I talked to you, Bob. I don't know if you remember the story. I don't know if you remember the story. So I didn't know this, but apparently you had been scouting me for working or joining the Uncommon League and whatever. But it was in Vancouver. It was my first. It was Vancouver 2016, I want to say. 2016, 2017. Amy, you were the only person I knew at the conference. And so I literally went from the convention center to the conference, to the hotel, and back.
Yeah, we were at the Delta. We weren't at the Pampa.
There was one instance where I ran into you on the street, and you were meeting up with Bob. And Bob, the way you looked at me was like, yeah, hey, nice to meet you. I'm like, man, that Bob guy's a douche. So Amy introduced us, and you were just like, hey. And I don't know if it was because you thought I was trying to like join you in your evening plans or whatever. But I'm like, this guy's not a nice guy.
Was it on our way back or on our way out?
You were on your way out.
Okay.
And so I ended up eating alone at the hotel restaurant. But it was that that feeling of like, whatever.
That's a great story.
And I did it.
Really being a douche.
And I did it. Amy, you'll appreciate this. I did it at a time where we've now crossed the hour mark. The show is now over. So Bob has no chance to come back on that one.
Oh,
it says very doubtful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember him embracing you warmly and taking you to his breast. I do. That's how I remember it.
There was no.
Here's the thing. As much as you're trying to find the angle, the reality is you know better, and you know that we always think the more the merrier. So. Yeah.
No, I know, but it was just I'm telling you what my immediate reaction was like, oh, this guy thinks he's like fancy, like, oh, all right, screw him. I'm gonna go have fish and chips in the hotel bar, and then I'm flying home.
Well, I apologize for my douchiness.
There's no need to apologize. It was I've told a couple people like. It's funny, and I always can't believe sometimes the people that I followed in entering the BA profession, 10 years ago, are now friends. That to me, and I hope we're friends, Bob, after that story. But like that to me is still amazing. Like first of all, I can't believe anybody wants to hear anything that I have to say. But I can't believe that the people like you and Jen Batten and folks like Adrian Reed, like the fact that you guys that we're friends is it blows my mind away. So,
well, here's the thing: the commonality isn't so much the intelligence aspect. It's the fact that we're all good people at the end of the day, and that's what we want to attract.
And this is what I want to say. Like, you weren't that douche that I thought you were. Outside the Delta in Vancouver.
I'm waiting for Jared to come back. No, really, you were right the first time.
Jared's probably gone, but Rafaro's with us, so and he found the story sweet. So with that, anything you guys want to say as a last 30 seconds, 60 seconds that you want to add to put out into the world?
Jared is still on. Amy,
Jared is still on.
You first, darling, because you've got your great pose going. Oh.
I got nothing. I got this.
Just a box of wine. That's awesome.
Which is awesome. I mean, share it. Awesome. The only thing I have to say, guys, we live in such crazy times right now. Never forget the facts. Don't let anyone put you off that. The facts are everything. And the facts are what unite us. The facts are what are going to ground us. The facts are what's going to take us into the next, part of our lives. And at the end of the day, just remember, let's be kind.
Yes.
Here you go, Vince. Don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche. Bob, stop being a douche. Like, okay. With that, then, we will sign off. You guys don't have to go away, but we're going to end the broadcast. So thank you this is a record. We've got like 13 people watching, which is like unheard of. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that's all you for sharing this as part of your newsletter for BA Times and PM Times. So thank you very much for that.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Happy to do it.
This has been, I told you that the hour would just fly by. And so it did. But I want to thank everyone who's been watching the live stream. Thanks for joining in on Analysts After Work, and we'll catch you next week.
Far away. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Good seeing you.